Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is KPZ. You're here on the home of the Slightly Above Average Ship Review. I got a pretty good match in the Holland in the can, but it wasn't the match I wanted. So instead we're in Scandinavia in a domination match. We're down tier in a winter ship that we got somehow. The Leberecht Maass Winter Edition, also known as the Z1. I'm going to link my Maass video where I go over the history of the ship if you're interested in that. But basically it's that ship with maybe a couple little minor differences, so Wargaming can claim it's not the same ship. You know, back in the olden days, as I've said before, these winter edition ships were just a camouflage. I know, because I have a couple of them. But now it's a whole new ship, and that's fine. I just use these duplicate ships, which I decry. Winter ships, I decry. Black ships, I just hate them. I just don't think there's any good, legitimate reason to have them in the game. But Wargaming's got to make money, so they put them out there. And I use them to try alternate builds or alternate commanders. So we're using a Rust and Rumble commander today, Blue Furiora, and her main deal is that she increases the speed of the ship as her base trait. So it's only good for destroyers, but it turns the Leberecht Maass from kind of a plodding, not very fast destroyer into a ship that rivals the speed of French and Russian ships. When she's fully maxed out, adds 5% to the speed of the destroyer. All right, taking a look here, no aircraft carriers. Another reason why I didn't want to bring you the Holland video. I want to get a match from the aircraft carrier and show you how effective that can be. So we traversed out of the center of the map, and we're heading towards Alpha, simply because the other destroyer was heading towards Bravo. And so so we came over here, and I was saying to myself right about now, boy, I really hope I get the Udachi over here. So we've got an Iowa. Now, these torpedoes don't do a ton of damage, but that being said, Blue Furiora has a unique trait called Mosquito Brutes, which I really don't recommend. I've tried it. It just doesn't work well with the way I play this game. Essentially, you trade torpedo damage for a decrease in torpedo detectability and an increase or a decrease in your reload. Sorry. So here is the Udachi as predicted. We're just going to shoot at the Udachi with the rear turrets. So I'm memorizing the gun layout. It's just 5 individual guns. So we do get a torpedo strike on maybe 2 torpedoes. No, just 1. We do get a torpedo strike with flooding on the Iowa, and now I threw up my smoke screen, and now I'm going to turn and try to decide who I want to torp at, and we're going to torp at the Iowa, and then we will engage Udachi with our guns. I'm sorry, I think this guy misplayed the Udachi. I really don't think you want to do that in the Udachi. It's not Azerlane Yukikaze or whatever. Torpedoes, very predictable. Just put them through the smoke screen. No problem evading. We only get 1 torpedo strike on the Iowa, so probably because the destroyer spotted them and he slowed down. That's fine. And we're going to throw some shells up here as soon as we get a little bit more around the island. Essentially, we're going to do, you know, what, 35,000 damage or so on the Iowa. We're not going to get that kill. All right, back to Udachi, and we're just going to turn, get our turrets on target. The turret traverse is a little sluggish in this one, so that's why I wouldn't necessarily say it's a gunboat. Of course, you could always use Eric Bay in here and run it as a gunboat. I have made the executive decision to use Eric Bay in the destroyers with 150 millimeter guns and use the torpedo leaning commanders in these 128 gunships. So we don't get the kill on the Udachi either, but we've done about 40,000 damage, and I think we were kind of instrumental in getting the Udachi and the Iowa killed. That's 2 tier 7 ships off the board, in a game where you're down tier. And then now we're going to move into alpha and cap it. And really, as a destroyer player, short of getting the kill yourself, you really can't ask for a better contribution, short of getting the kill, than being instrumental in taking 2 tier 7 ships off the board, especially one that has the game-changing ability like Yudachi. And I don't think that is a very good destroyer player, because if I'm playing the Yudachi, I try not to get spotted or whatever. He had no fear of that. Maybe he thought the Iowa was going to back him up all the way through the cap. The Iowa couldn't do that. The Iowa's guns don't fire fast enough, and the Iowa didn't have any health. But the enemy team is undaunted by us removing those 2 ships from the game. They're going to continue to press in over here with a Vittorio Veneto and 2 other cruisers, one of which is an Anchorage, and there's another one back over here somewhere. Maybe Renown? I can't remember the name of it, but there's another cruiser over here, and we'll engage with him shortly. So, I know I have a relatively quick torpedo reload in this ship, even though I'm not using Mosquito Brutes. We're going to get the solo base cap here, and then we are going to just see what we can see in terms of launching. Now, I'm going to launch 1 salvo just in case he doesn't deviate, but I expect this ship to flatten out relative to our position and give us more of a broadside. So if you're new to my channel, I play a lot of destroyers. If you don't play destroyers very often, I don't know if I should be the only one to tell you, as we get the solo base cap, that you are going to get the best results shooting at a ship that is parallel to you or parallel to the impact line of your torpedoes. So we did get a torpedo strike there with some flooding. The torpedoes, again, they don't do a ton of damage, around 13,700 if I'm memorizing that correctly, to quote George Bush. But we're going to throw up our smoke stream. We're going to do a little farming. The purpose for this is to distract him from the incoming torpedoes, and whether that actually works or not, who knows. But we do get 4 torpedo strikes, and I think here in a minute we're going to flood out Vittorio Veneto with a dev strike for our first kill. All right, that's kind of how you do that there. All right, so we got a solo base cap. We got our first kill. We were instrumental in removing now 3 tier 7 ships from this side of the map. There, I think, was the other cruiser, not the Anchorage. It is an Amalfi. So, yeah, Renown is a battleship or a battle cruiser. So, Amalfi is going to go haywire here and do a lot of things I would never do. And he's going to go after our battleship. And he's going to kill our battleship here, which is, you know, clearly the danger of cruisers. They're very fast. The ones that have torpedoes can do a lot of damage. So I'm just gunboating him at this point. Not that my 128s are going to do a ton of damage. I'm just trying to distract him, and hopefully that gives our battleship player time to get a reload or maybe kill him somehow. Unfortunately, due to the superior maneuverability of Amalfi, that is not going to happen. We switched to armor-piercing shells. I'm trying them. I'm hitting the armor belt. They are not doing any damage. I'm going to aim a little bit higher here. Our battleship gets taken out into the superstructure, and we do take out Amalfi for our second kill. So we've got the cap. We've removed all but one of the ships on the side, the Anchorage. At some point, as I'm pushing up here, I'm going to be like, you know what? I am going to let somebody else deal with the Anchorage. I don't want to push my luck. This ship can't kill the Anchorage without torpedoes. And yes, I do have them, but it's getting into the position to use them effectively that I'm a little leery about doing in the open water, or hoping he comes around with these islands. So right about here, I'm like, you know what? Let's just see if we can set him on fire as we go behind the island, and we are just going to leave him be and move our attention to another part of the map. Now, you can see by looking at the minimap, the enemy destroyer presumably is starting to flip the Bravo cap. One of our ships is trying very inefficiently to flip the Charlie Cap, and as you can see, the anchorage and one of their other ships haven't been a crossfire, and so that's not going to work for us. So I decide, hey, let's move into the Charlie Cap and cap the Charlie Cap. And that way, this ship can go do something useful, like attack an enemy ship. And he will do something useful. So by doing this, we're going to free up the Lion to go do battleship stuff, instead of the Lion trying to do destroyer stuff, which I'm going to do, because I'm a destroyer. So we're going to move into the Charlie Cap. By the way, we have over 100,000 damage already at this point in the match. So down here, I would say that's pretty good. All right, so we're moving in. We are in the cap now. We're going to start to flip that. The enemy destroyer has flipped Bravo. So we're down, we're up by about 60 points, so to speak, and we're tied in ships. So this is a very close match. So really, me capping this out is going to help our team maintain our lead. I'm going to put one set of torpedoes towards the Monarch and the other towards the Colorado. I'm just wondering in the back of my head, I saw a whole bunch of new Azer Lane commanders came out. I didn't buy any of them. I don't necessarily plan to, at least not right now, but I know that one of them was for Colorado. I want to say I did see one that was kind of interesting that had like a reload boost and maybe a shell grouping boost, so I'm going to wait to hear what the community thinks about if any of them are OP or not before I decide if I'm going to buy them. Anyway, kill pinch inbound. We're going to kill pinch the Colorado right there. Kill number 3. And in a minute here, we're going to get our second solo base cap. And the Lion player is going to use his ship and ram the Monarch and take him out, leaving our team with a 2-on-1 advantage. So good job to that guy. By the way, the Monarch player just got a Kraken. Yeah. So they just have a destroyer left. We have got a significant lead now. Looks like about 130 points or so. And so I think for a minute about going to hunt down the destroyer. And then I'm like, you know what? I really am loving my new thing of destroyer hat tricks. So let's try to get the hat trick. We're going to go in and try to get a solo base cap of the, is it Delta or Bravo? I think it's Bravo. We're going to go try to cap Delta. We're going to cap Delta, and then hopefully this cruiser on my team can take out the destroyer, and I won't have to worry about that. So we're going to cruise in here to Delta, and you know what? Some of this may not have been possible without the speed that Blue Furiora lends to the ship, being able to traverse all the way across the map at 42 knots, and using the speed boost, looks like up to 45. Or at one point, I think we were just short of 45. So I'm going to give my teammate the location of the enemy ship using my RDF indicator and my stellar judgment. There are torpedoes, so that's where the enemy ship generally is. And we're going to lazily sail around and get ourselves that third solo base cap. You know, and the other part of the hat trick is more than 3K base XP. So it just remains to be seen. But since we're down here and we got a couple cap defended flags, I think we have exceeded 3K base XP. So this will be a destroyer hat trick game. All right, but we are not done because there's still an enemy ship left. And it looks like he's going up the middle. So I'm going to move to intercept him. Somehow he slipped by the cruiser, and that's fine. We're going to win this match. There he is. Turrets, again, not lining up quickly. So we're going to let him line up, and then I'm going to just light him up here. I don't really care about killing him. I mean, I am trying to kill him. But I'm also a realist. We're in orange time up at the top. So I know there's a distinct possibility that time could run out before he is dying, because right now I'm the only one shooting him. The cruiser is not shooting him, probably because the cruiser is behind an island. So they're torpedoes. Those aren't really meant for me. But essentially, we're just going to sit here shooting and setting fires, and probably setting more fires on this one ship than I had, as many as I had set up to that point in the game. Anyway, Scandinavia, that is the battle results, or the end of the battle. Got some milestones here, and I'm just going to skip them. New campaign, looking forward to that campaign ship. But here we are on the victory screen. Devastating strike medal. We had 106,881 total damage, 8 torpedo strikes, 3 big kills, and 3 solo base caps. Add in a couple cap defend flags. We ended up with over 883,000 silver. So good money earning here. Over 11,000 ship XP, over 3,000 green XP, over 21,000 commander XP in the Maass W. Here we are at the top of the board. 3290 base XP, 1 medal, 3 big kills. Again, a Kraken is great. When you are the only good player on your team, you're still not going to win. But yeah, again, I don't have an exceeding amount of love for the Maass W. I decry the winter ships and the black ships being in this game. But it is what it is, and it was a solid performer here today on Scandinavia. All right, let's go back into the port and take a look at our build. In terms of the upgrades, aiming system mod 1, no shocker there. Propulsion mod 2, and concealment system mod 1. Those are all pretty standard for a tier 6 premium destroyer. Looking at the loadout, 2 charges of the smoke generator, 2 charges of the engine boost, and 2 charges of the German, rather short range sonar, although it does last over 90 seconds. Ran all these epic flags, the rare battle booster for movement speed and cooldown time. Got the Winter Lebrecht Maass camo, and because it's a winter ship, I decided to express my love for winter ships by putting the winter potato flag on them. Alright, survivability, 17,500 hit points with our build. Got those 5 128mm guns, 9.5 kilometer firing range, 3.7 second reload, 22.5 second turn time, HE shells 1500 max damage with a 6% fire chance, AP shells 3000 max damage. 2 quad launchers reload every 90 seconds. Max damage is stated 13,700. They have an 8 kilometer range at 69 knots. The detectability is 1,300 meters. AA defense, not a lot to talk about here. It isn't good. Doesn't go out very far, doesn't do a lot. Maneuverability, 42.1 knots. That's pretty quick. 640 meter turning circle. 4.2 second rudder shift time. That's not great. Anything over 4, I think, is bad. Concealment, 5 on the surface, 2.9 from the air, 2.5 when firing from smoke. All right, taking a look at the stats, we have a 75% winning percentage in the ship. Main battery accuracy, 49%. Torpedo accuracy, 20%. Kill death ratio of 1.5. That last game you saw, except for maybe the airplane shot down, is responsible for most of our highest battle achievements in this ship. It's not a terrible destroyer. Again, I just don't like how we have winter ships, so there you go. Nothing special in the armor viewer. Here is a look at the aforementioned Commander Blue Furiora. Base trait up to 5% destroyer speed when fully maxed out. Kind of running an old meta Commander inspiration over here with Eric Bay and Jerzy Swirsky. In row 1, there are not a lot of good choices, so I just contact is imminent. You wouldn't use subsurface venture if you wanted to maintain your reload. Mosquito brutes, as mentioned, the damage reduction is not worth the trade-off for me in this ship. You know, maybe if it was in the 4th row, it might be worth it, but it's not worth it in row 1. And no fly zone isn't worth it because you don't have good AA. Look at me now in row 2, perceptive in row 3, Destroyer be destroyed in row 4. I would love to use Give Me Speed, but when I have this commander fully ranked up and I unlock that extra engine boost, then I will probably slap this on instead of Unstoppable. Anyway, that is the Lebrecht Maass Winter Edition. Like, comment, subscribe down below. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like to hear what you think about the ship in the comments. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time.